Here we are in the great engine of money-making and business and entrepreneurship, the accumulation of tremendous wealth here in Los Angeles. And yet, we are the capital of the working poor in the United States. What a contradiction. But Clue overcomes these contradictions with the strength of our Interfaith Alliance. Islamic imams, Jewish rabbis, Catholic priests, Protestant ministers, Buddhists, all marching together, talking about their sacred texts with great respect and love. And we have found that the common thread amongst us is the mandate for justice and human dignity. And one of my favorite pictures of Clue at work at its quintessential best is to watch the imam, the rabbi, and the pastor walking through Beverly Hills at lunch saying, "Si se puede." I think Clue is the model for the nation in the way it works with solidarity and in overcoming these stark contradictions that go right through the heart of every city. I'm so proud of Clue. They're a genius.
My first impression about what Clue did was that they were actually living out the scriptures in real, concrete ways, in fighting for justice for those without a voice, in making sure that the poor and the widowed and the orphan were taken care of, not just in a way of providing charity, but empowering people. And I think that's what draws the difference between whether you really follow scripture or whether you just sort of take a prescription to feel better. When you are actually willing to go out there and organize people so that they can be empowered and so that they can actually regain their dignity and their self-respect and actually fight for what is theirs, I think that really is restoring people's humanity and the rightness in creation.
Clergy certainly have a special role to play in fighting for the rights of all people, in working together and in bridging the gap, in helping advocate for the rights of all of God's children, and when they are threatened, in trying to plead their case before individuals and organizations that may not recognize how important it is that all people be treated with respect and with dignity. The Torah, the Hebrew Bible, has a very famous passage that you cannot keep a worker's wages overnight, and that resonates very powerfully with me and is the basis of much of the work that I do with Clue.
We need to change things around, and I think the faith community of diverse cultures and faiths coming together and speaking out, it'll happen. If all the churches and congregations speak out, it will happen. And that's why Clue is so important.
We need to speak authoritatively through our sermons and lessons in our discussion groups about the rights of low-wage workers. We need to support them by speaking with them and on their behalf. I think we need to continue to write letters to the editors of our local newspapers. We need to host teach-ins. It's a matter of education, but it's also a matter of connecting our communities and the wider communities outside of our congregations to the faces and the stories of these low-wage workers, so that it's not just a nameless mass of people that work at a particular hotel or happen to work as security officers. We need to be able to connect people to the real people that are being affected by unfair and unjust work practices.
One of the things I learned through Clue is that most of these workers are invisible. These people who bring food to our table, who wash our cars, who do all these things for us that have a little bit more in this economy, are usually invisible. We don't look at them, we don't really see them. So I think anything and everything that can be done so that people can actually see the humanity and actually not be so alienated from where our things come from, how our cars get washed, who these people are, how our food gets served, how we are, our beds get changed in hotels. Once you start to see the humanity of it, I think you start to realize that they are our sisters and brothers, that they have families just the way we do, and so their plight is no longer their plight. It becomes all of our concerns.
It's fascinating to see congregations as they're beginning to get involved in this work, and the excitement that just being part of a couple actions and educational forums can start to create within a community.
When there's unity, people enjoy one another, enjoy each other's presence. You don't need a lot. We can work really hard, and you could be in a march and really, at the end of the march, your feet hurt, your legs hurt, you're really tired, but you're happy because we know that we together are saying something to the world.
There is a famous passage in the Torah in the book of Deuteronomy which says, Banim atem l'Adonai Elohechem, you are all children of the Lord your God. There is a debate in the Talmud between two of the most famous rabbis about whether we are always God's children, or whether sometimes we act so abhorrently that we no longer deserve that title. And in the end, the rabbi who wins the argument is the one who says, and I agree with him, no matter what we do, no matter how we act, no matter what we say, we are always children of God. And I believe with all my heart that we need to see the face of God in one another. If we do that, we can solve any problem that faces us.
There is another world happening below this world that we see politically, below the violence of our economic systems. There are hundreds and thousands of people across the world of civil society who want to make a different world. As Arundhati Roy says, I believe another world is about to be born, and if you are quiet, you can hear her breathing.